Welcome to the front lines of 2026. Before we begin, a mandatory legal reminder. The following content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not financial advice. We are standing at a historic crossroads. As of this morning, January 1st, Bitcoin is trading at $88,280. To the mainstream media, this looks like a failure, a 30% crash from the $126,000 peak we saw in October. But to the hodler, this is the most significant entry point of the decade. The death of the cycle. Historically, the market followed a rigid 4-year halving cycle. But 2026 is different. We are witnessing the dawn of the institutional era. Grayscale and Goldman Sachs have both adjusted their models, noting that the old boom and bust retail cycles are being replaced by steady, institutional absorption. In fact, exchange outflows have surged 132% this week alone. Over 38,000 BTC moved into private custody today. This isn't a sell-off, it's a supply shock in the making. The $88,000 support floor. Why is 88,000 the magic number? Technical analysis shows we are currently sitting on a massive support zone that aligns with the 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. While the Fear and Greed Index is screaming extreme fear at a score of 21, the Smart Money Index is at an all-time high. We see a death cross on the daily charts, which scares the weak hands. But on the weekly time frame, the 200-day moving average is sloping upward at its steepest angle in history. The structure is bullish. The foundation is set. This is the structural reset needed to propel us toward the $150,000 target predicted for later this year. The institutional reserve. The biggest catalyst for 2026 isn't retail FOMO. It's the U.S. Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. With the administration now pushing for America to be the crypto capital of the world, we are seeing a sovereign arms race. Nations are no longer asking if they should own Bitcoin, but how much they need to survive the next decade of fiat debasement. As we move through this first chapter of the year, remember that volatility is the price you pay for performance. If you can't handle a 30% drawdown, you don't deserve the 500% gain. Stay vigilant. Stay focused on the long-term vision. Remember, this is not financial advice. We have now reached the second chapter of our 2026 deep dive. Before we continue, remember, this is not financial advice. For years, the Bitcoin community has lived under a cloud of uncertainty. We called it regulation by enforcement. But as of today, that era is over. We have entered the era of the infrastructure of freedom. The primary driver of this shift is the Clarity Act, which passed the House and is now the defining framework for our markets. The Clarity Act breakdown. The Digital Asset Market Clarity Act does something revolutionary. It finally draws a clear line between digital commodities and securities. By granting the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, exclusive jurisdiction over spot markets, it removes the legal friction that has kept big banks on the sidelines for a decade. This isn't just a win for lawyers, it's a win for liquidity. It means your Bitcoin is officially recognized by the federal government as a digital commodity, intrinsically linked to the most secure blockchain on Earth, the Genius Act and the dollar. Then, we have the Genius Act, signed by President Trump this past summer. This legislation isn't just about stablecoins, it's about rewiring the global payment system. By establishing federal guardrails for dollar-backed digital assets, the Genius Act has effectively turned stablecoins into the internet's dollar. We are seeing firms like Circle and Ripple receiving preliminary bank charter approvals, allowing them to trade state licenses for national power. This provides the stable, regulated on-ramps needed for the next 100 million users to enter the ecosystem without fear. The FASB game changer. Perhaps the most underrated news today is the FASB accounting update. Effective for reporting periods starting after December 15, 2024, public companies can now measure Bitcoin at fair value. No longer are companies like Strategy or Tesla forced to only report impairment when the price drops. Now, they can show the true strength of their balance sheets as the price rises. This simple accounting change has turned Bitcoin into a mainstream corporate treasury asset. In fact, over 170 public companies now hold Bitcoin, a 40% increase just in the last quarter. The death of the 4-year cycle. All of these forces, the Clarity Act, the Genius Act, and fair value accounting, are leading to one conclusion: the end of the 4-year cycle. Traditional market patterns are breaking because the participants have changed. We are no longer driven by retail FOMO, but by institutional vertical capital. As asset managers like BlackRock and Fidelity deepen their footprints, the volatility we've grown used to is being replaced by a steady, relentless upward grind. As you watch the markets today, remember, we aren't just building a new bank. We are building a new foundation for human freedom. Stay vigilant, stay orange. And once more, this is not financial advice. We have reached the final chapter of our 2026 strategy. We've covered the institutional reset and the regulatory shifts, but now we must address the most important piece of the puzzle: sovereign custody. Before we proceed, one last reminder. The following content is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. You are the only person responsible for your private keys. The custody crisis. As Bitcoin crosses $88,000, the target on your back grows larger. In 2026, hackers aren't just looking for exchange passwords. They're using sophisticated AI to hunt for digital vulnerabilities. If your coins are sitting on an exchange, they aren't your coins. They are a dynamic entry in someone else's database. To truly hold the signal, you must move to self-custody. The air-gapped standard. For your long-term reserves, you should use a hardware security module. This means your private keys, the master password to your wealth. Never touch an internet-connected device. In 2026, I recommend looking at air-gapped solutions. These devices allow you to sign transactions using QR codes or microSD cards. This ensures that your device is never physically plugged into your computer while it's connected to the internet. This air-gap is the gold standard for preventing remote hacks. Look for tools built with open-source transparency, ensuring that the global community has verified there are no backdoors in the code. Your security should rely on math, not on the trust of a corporation. Entropy and the 3-2-1 backup rule. When you set up your vault, the most important step is generating entropy, the true randomness that creates your keys. Once those keys exist, you must follow the 3-2-1 backup rule. Have 3 copies of your recovery seed phrase. Use 2 different media types, one on paper and one engraved in a medical-grade steel recovery plate. Paper burns and ink fades, but stainless steel can withstand the heat of a house fire. Finally, store 1 copy in a geographically distinct location. If your home is compromised, your wealth shouldn't be. This is how you build generational security that no government or hacker can touch. The Recon Render mission. This brings us to the mission. Bitcoin is a digital protocol, but the conviction to hold it is a physical reality. To celebrate the start of this year, I am officially opening the Recon Render gear shop at reconrender.store. We aren't just selling apparel, we are building a uniform for the digital guardians. From our signature Bitcoin badge hoodie to our high durability gear, every piece is designed to reflect the resilience of the blockchain. When you wear Recon Render, you're letting the world know you aren't just a trader. You are a hodler. You are someone who understands the signal in a world full of noise. Final call to action. Head over to Recon Render store today to grab your launch edition gear. And as we close out this deep dive, remember, stay vigilant, keep your keys offline, and stay orange. For the last time today, this is not financial advice. I'll see you on the front lines of the revolution. Visit the shop at reconrender.store.